The hole down here 12 meters, you would get 4.5 meters of reinforced concrete and steel, which was the ceiling of the bunker. 4.5 meters, yeah? I mean, that's, to put it in perspective, it's probably from that side to that side. That's about 4.5 meters. That was the thickness of the ceiling. The walls in some areas could be 3 meters. Yeah? So, the spirit inside that bunker in late April 1945 was probably the lowest and most oppressive place that you could be in, because that Third Reich that was expanding all the way from the Pyrenees Mountains to the Volga River and from northern Norway to northern Africa was now only 3 kilometers around this area. That was all the place that they had under their control. Yeah, on the 20th of April, the Soviets start shelling Berlin. They put all their weapons around the city and shell it all day, all night, so that when they come in, they hope to find less resistance. You know, they hope to kill as many soldiers as possible. And well, the resistance, Hitler is down there in the bunker, and he says that everyone here has to fight till the last man and the last bullet. Yeah, keep the last bullet for yourself, otherwise you're going to end up in a concentration camp in Siberia. Yeah, one of the work camps. This is what he's telling people. Of course, many Germans are forced to fight, like the children, like the elderly, that are taken to the front with guns to go up against well-trained, well-prepared Soviet soldiers. Well, these guys don't really feel that that's actually a good idea. They leave their guns and decide to go home. Well, the SS are still roaming the streets looking for deserters. They hang people from the trees, they hang them from the posts. And they put them signs that say, I was a coward and I refused to defend my fatherland from the Bolshevik invader. Yeah, you'll see many of these images around Berlin in those days. Hitler then, his birthday is on the 20th of April. Some of his best friends and colleagues come here to, you know, congratulate him, like Himmler, the chief of the SS and the Gestapo, Goebbels, the Minister of Propaganda, Goering, the Chief of the Air Force, Albert Speer, the architect of the Reich and his best mate. They all come here and tell him, you need to go, you need to leave Berlin, the war is lost, you can go to maybe Argentina, maybe Paraguay, maybe Japan, maybe hide you in the mountains of Bavaria and the Alps, yeah, but you need to go. And Hitler says, no, I will stay here. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the official story. Yeah, the official story is basically made from the memoirs of the people that were with Hitler down there those last days, like Rochus Misch, who was one of his bodyguards, like Teudel who was Hitler's secretary. Rochus Misch actually died in 2013, October 2013, so a year and 2 months ago. He was the last remaining survivor of the bunker, and until the very last day he kept saying what he said happened. So I believe probably this is the real story, but I can't guarantee you it is. So Hitler decides to marry a woman that up to that moment was very unknown. Her name was Eva Braun. Yeah, she was the assistant to Hitler's personal photographer, Mr. Hoffmann from Munich. And they met in 1930. She was about 17 years old when they met. And, well, they have apparently a love affair. But no one really knows if actually anything happened inside the chambers, the Führer's chamber. There's many myths about Hitler's sexuality, though. Some even say he was a repressed homosexual. Some say that he couldn't get it up. Some say that he was completely asexual. Some say that he actually used to have, you know, serious relations with women like Eva Braun, like his niece. So it's also, again, he's a mystery still to this day. We don't know what happened. But he, in acknowledgement for all those years that she was together with him, he decides to marry her the day before he commits suicide. He said in his political will that only 2 beings had been ever eternally faithful and loyal to him. One was Eva Braun and the other one was Hitler's dog, Blondie. Yeah, the German Shepherd. Yeah. He then decides to say bye-bye to everybody on the 29th On the 30th is when he commits suicide. The 29th, they marry down there in the bunker. On the 30th at 3:30, he goes to say bye to everybody, shakes hands, and gives them capsules of cyanide. So those are still there. He goes inside his chamber, takes the pill. Eva is the first one to die. First they try it on the dog actually, because he's not sure if these pills work properly. They try it on the dog dies, then Eva goes inside, she takes the pill, dies, he takes the pill and shoots himself in the head while he takes the pill. Then he had given very strict orders of what to do with his body. He's very afraid. Word has come to him what has happened to Benito Mussolini in Italy. In Milan, you know, the partisans arrested him. They killed him and his mistress. They took his clothes off, urinated on him, spat on him. Yeah, dragged him through the streets of Milan and hung him like head down, completely naked from a petrol station. Yeah, and he doesn't want this to happen to him in the Red Square in Moscow. So he tells his bodyguards, he tells this pilot and his driver who's still with him that they need to burn his corpse to ash. It's very difficult to make a fire that could go through human bones if it's not inside a controlled area like an oven. Yeah, you need at least, I think, 900 degrees Celsius to burn through a human bone. The ditch is basically over here. There. That's the place where there is actually a hole done by Soviet artillery. The earth is too hard to dig in during that time of the year because it was April. No, winter here is very bitter. So they take advantage of that crater done by the Soviet artillery, and there they chuck the bodies of Hitler and Himmler. Yeah, they throw petrol. I mean, the chances back here, there was some petrol, but they didn't have enough. So they go onto the Wilhelmstraße, this street that we were just walking up and down right now. And there they go into the tanks of the cars and look for more petrol to, you know, feed the fire. When they think the job is done, they cover it and everybody leaves. Yeah. Then the Third Belarusian Front arrives over here. This is a division from the Soviet army. The general that comes in here is looking for Hitler. Stalin is going insane. He's like, where is Hitler? You know, I mean, basically the Germans are going to sign any moment now. And he starts blaming the Americans and the British for allowing Hitler escape route through southern Germany, through Bavaria and the Alps. So no one is finding Hitler. Inside this building they find a little man with a brush moustache combed to the side, and they think this is Hitler, and the soldiers start taking pictures with this corpse, Gaddafi style, you know, there, all of them taking the camera and taking pictures of themselves. And the general arrives in there and he sees that the corpse has no shoes and that the socks are in some parts mended and worn out. So he thinks, well, this can't be the man. Keep looking for him. Two soldiers from the Third Belarusian Front walk over here. They see that at that point the earth has been disturbed. They start digging and find human remains. They call in the NKVD, which was what later became the KGB, yeah, in the Soviet Union. These guys kick everybody out and take those bits of bones that they have there. Remember, back then there's no DNA yet, you know, a test that they could do. There's just a bunch of bones. They tried to do an autopsy to a bunch of bones, which at that time would have been something completely useless. You can't do it. And that's where the myth comes that Hitler only had one testicle. You might come across that. It's from this autopsy that they do to the bones, but how can they tell if there's only bones left? So there is one bit though that is crucial for the whole investigation, and that is a bit of the jaw. They find a bit of the jaw, and Hitler wasn't a healthy man. He had gone through a lot of health problems. You know, he had suffered from constipation, which suggests that probably this is the reason why he had a vegetarian diet. He had heart problems as well. Only a few original pieces of teeth in his mouth. The rest had all been reconstructed. And nowadays it's kind of normal, right? I mean, you lose a tooth, you get a fake one on. But back then, this was a very expensive procedure that not many people could pay for. So when they found this, they decided to go to Hitler's dentist. The man was already gone, but his assistant was still around. And they asked her for Hitler's, file. Well, Hitler's file wasn't there anymore, it was burnt. But they asked her to draw a sketch. And what she remembered was the kind of work that was done on the, on Hitler's jaw and teeth. And she did a sketch, and that matched pretty much perfectly what they found. This is the only evidence that there is that Hitler died inside that hole. Well, died inside the bunker and was burnt out here in that fire. But we don't know. The NKVD then took those bits of bones. They kept one bit that was the skull of Hitler, apparently, that had the exit wound. I'll tell you the story about that later. The Russians had it. Apparently Stalin used it as an ashtray for quite some time. And they took that towards the city of Magdeburg. That's where the American and the Soviet army met. The picture is also in here, I think. I think this was at Magdeburg. 1945, April the 25th. US soldiers meet with Soviet soldiers. This one over here. Yeah? And they take along those bits of bones that they still have with them and bury them in the city of Magdeburg. In a place that nowadays deals with industrial waste. And it's like, yeah, an industrial waste disposal unit. That's where Hitler was buried until 1970. In 1970, the KGB goes back to the city of Magdeburg with the order of taking out those bits of bones left, burning them in the crematorium of the city, and throwing the ashes anywhere they want. So they throw them into the sewers of the town that go into the Elbe River. So a bit Osama bin Laden kind of style of burial. You'll find many stories, some of them that sound very plausible and something that could actually happen. There's an Argentinian historian that claims that Hitler, along with many Nazis, that, this is also something that we know, many Nazis ended up living in Argentina and in South America, especially in Argentina and Paraguay, some also in Chile. They would go down south to the isolated area, to the places where there were, very little to none people. And he claims that Hitler escaped from here after he married Eva Braun on a plane that was flown by one of the first female pilots. Her name was Hanna Reich. Yeah, from here they went to Norway. In Norway, although it had already fallen to the Allies, the Nazis still had the control of a submarine base. And there he jumped on a submarine and went to the Patagonia. But we don't know. I don't think that's a possibility, but when I heard him talking and telling the story, it sounded like something that could happen. Just to put you at rest, he would be dead by now. Otherwise he would be 126 years old. Yeah, he's probably living in a flat with Elvis. We don't know. No, he will be dead by now. No one lives 126. So do you have any questions? Okay, important places around this area.